Hi, Chris Klein again, Director of Butterfly Ridge Butterfly Conservation Center here in a very brisk and chilly Hocking Hills, Ohio. Had to break out my Northern Arizona University sweatshirt here. Welcome to episode 2 of Landscaping for Life. And in this episode, we actually have quite a bit of ground to cover here in the next 5 or 6 minutes, kind of introducing what native plants are about and the fact that not all native plants are considered equal as far as butterflies are concerned. And so with that in mind, we'll go ahead and get started. What exactly is a native plant? That should probably be where we start. So it's generally accepted by the experts that native plants are plants that were growing and thriving here in North America prior to European settlement. So we're not talking about 1776, okay? We're talking about prior to that, okay? 1600s. So plants that were here doing their thing prior to Europeans showing up, those are considered native. Plants that came in later via Europe, Asia, South America, wherever. So, things like privets and daffodils and that sort of thing, those are considered exotics. Okay, we call those exotic plants. Now here at Butterfly Ridge, our focus is natives. So that's what we like to talk about. That's what we do as natives, and so that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, as far as the natives go, butterflies, not all native plants are considered equal. And I like to use what maybe you feed your kid for lunch, okay, as my example, as far as what kind of plants butterflies prefer to nectar on, sip the nectar out of the flowers there. So let me ask, if you offered your child either Brussels sprouts or peanut butter and jelly for lunch, which would they pick? Okay, if your kids are like my kids, okay, and who knows, maybe you have weird kids, but if your kids are like my kids, the peanut butter and jelly is going to win. Okay, I mean, I still remember the first time that my son ate Brussels sprouts. Okay, and he was probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old, and he was like one dry heave away from losing it. I mean, it was a hoot. We like to remind him of it every now and then, now that he's 21. Now, let's say the next day, you offer your child lunch, and you offer them a peanut butter and jelly sandwich again, or you offer them a Dairy Queen Blizzard. So which are they going to choose? Well, most likely, once again, if your kids are like mine, Dairy Queen will win, okay? Realize butterflies are the same way, okay? There are flowers out there that are the Brussels sprouts of nectar, okay? And the example I like to use, I have people tell me how goldenrod's this great nectar plant for butterflies, and how black-eyed Susans are this great nectar plant for butterflies. Well, you know what? Here at Butterfly Ridge, those two absolutely fall into the Brussels sprout category, okay? On my computer, I've got thousands of pictures I've taken of butterflies nectaring on flowers. And I believe I have two photographs of butterflies nectaring on black-eyed Susan. Now, maybe they like the black-eyed Susans in your yard. Maybe there's something weird about Butterfly Ridge. And if they love your black-eyed Susans, feel free to comment on this video, whether you're watching it on YouTube or Facebook or wherever. Feel free to make a comment. Hey, Chris, my butterflies love my black-eyed Susans. Okay. I just know here at Butterfly Ridge they don't. Now, to give you an idea, for example, of a peanut butter and jelly plant, okay, that would be, I would put cardinal flower into that category. 2 years ago, so 2017, Yeah. We had a great cardinal flower year here. And I mean, Spice Bush swallowtails fighting over it. I mean, great entertaining things to watch, Now, this past year, 2018, for the most part, the butterflies turned their noses up at the cardinal flower. I mean, every now and then somebody would be sipping nectar from it, but instead, all the butterflies were on the ironweed. Okay, we had an outstanding ironweed season this year. We had ironweed everywhere, okay? And so the butterflies were blowing off the cardinal flower and going to the ironweed. So the ironweed would qualify as our Dairy Queen Blizzard, okay? Whereas the cardinal flower would fall into our peanut butter and jelly category. Black-eyed Susans, we won't talk about, okay? And so for a successful home landscape as far as attracting butterflies, for a successful butterfly garden, you want to minimize the Brussels sprouts and maximize the peanut butter and jelly and the Dairy Queen Blizzards. Okay, so you want to minimize, in my opinion, the black-eyed Susans and the goldenrods and some of those kinds of plants, okay? Whereas for here at Butterfly Ridge, what we would then kind of emphasize, like for example, our peanut butter and jelly plants, that would fall into like, colic root, blazing star, wing stem, cup plant, okay, those sorts of plants. And then, of course, our Dairy Queen Blizzards, okay, those are the ironweeds and the Joe Pye weed and the wild bergamot and common milkweed and butterfly weed. Those plants are just absolute butterfly magnets, Now, where you get these plants, you've got a couple different options. I mean, you can either actually plant plants, or you can grow everything from seed. Now, here at Butterfly Ridge, if you'll recall from episode 1 last week, of our I mentioned that we've planted in the neighborhood of 4,000 plants in the last 4 years. And of those 4,000 plants, all but 30 or so, we've actually grown from seed that we have collected either here at Butterfly Ridge or elsewhere throughout Southeast Ohio. Like I said, we've got about 30 that we actually planted as plants rather than seed. As far as where's good sources for native plants here in Central Ohio or Southeast Ohio, there's two really awesome native plant nurseries. Number one is Natives in Harmony, which is out in Marengo, Ohio, kind of northeast of Columbus. And then secondly is Scioto Gardens Nursery in Delaware, just north of Columbus. Both of those are excellent choices as far as having good quality native plants. And plus the nice thing about, for example, Linda and Mike at Scioto Gardens, Gail at Natives in Harmony, they're all really super knowledgeable. I mean, they're not going to try to talk you into petunias if you're trying to attract butterflies. Okay, they know what they're doing. Now, if you like tinkering with seeds and growing things from seeds, then who you want to talk to is the guy in front of the camera here, okay? We collect seed, all through the fall, all through the summer, and so up in my freezer in the basement right now, I've got gobs and gobs of seed, and we give away seed, okay? We don't charge you anything for it. There's now this self-addressed stamped envelope stuff, All you need to do is email me, text me, whatever, say, hey Chris, I want this and this and this, give me your address, away we go. And in the video, I've got a list of the different seeds that we have to offer here through Butterfly Ridge. And so just to give you some things to think about. Once again, as you look out in your yard, are you seeing a bunch of Brussels sprouts? Are you seeing a bunch of peanut butter and jelly? Are you seeing Dairy Queen Blizzards? What are you seeing out there? Because see, winter time's an excellent time to start thinking about how you can change things around, you know, and get rid of some of those Brussels sprouts and throw in some more blizzards, you know. So, we're going to wrap things up. Once again, feel free to send me a comment if the butterflies actually like your black-eyed Susans, because they despise ours. And I'd be interested in hearing from you. So we will see you next week, next Monday. We tend to do this on a Monday thing. And we'll see you next Monday with episode 3, where we'll talk a little bit more about how to prepare your seeds to grow plants. You can't necessarily just throw seeds out and they'll grow. I realize in nature that's how it works. But also in nature, only a very, very small percentage of the seeds that are actually produced by the plants actually turn into plants themselves. And so if you're going to go to all the bother of contacting me and saying, hey Chris, send me 200 common milkweed seeds, I assume you would prefer to have more than 2 actually come up and become plants. And so we'll share some of our secrets as far as how we're able to get 190 of those 200 seeds to come up rather than just 2. So we'll talk to you again next week.